The question posed by the penultimate plague is simply this: will you be paralyzed by the darkness, or will you be the light? Will you be paralyzed by the darkness, or will you be the light? Our Torah portion, Parshat Bo, contains the final 3 plagues, which all take place under the cover of night. In the 8th plague, the locusts blot out the sun. Teheshchach haaretz, the land was darkened. The final plague, the slaying of the firstborn, takes place b'chatzi halayla, in the middle of the night, in the dead of the night. But in the penultimate plague, this darkness becomes visceral and palpable. A hoshech afela, a thick darkness. It was yamesh chachodesh, a darkness that could be touched. In this darkness of the second to last plague, we are told, Lo ra'u ish et achiv velo kamu ish mitachtav. A person could not see his brother, nor could he get up from his place. Rashi describes it as twice and twice again thicker than the darkness of any other night. Midrash Tanchuma says the darkness was so thick that one who was standing could not sit, and one who was sitting could not stand up. It was a darkness so heavy that it swallowed sound, so that even if others were with you in the room, you wouldn't know it. It was not just an absence of light, not just a long night, but a deep, impenetrable darkness that isolated and debilitated. In contrast, we're told that wherever the Israelites went, there was light. L'chol b'nei Yisrael haya or b'moshvotam. For the children of Israel, there was light in their dwellings. The commentators say that it was not just that their houses were lit, but that wherever the Israelites went, there was light. They saw immense light that illuminated everything around them. Even as the Egyptians sat immobilized in the darkness, the Israelites moved around freely in light. The Midrash says that the Israelites were able to walk into the homes of the Egyptians, and the Egyptians didn't even know they were there. How could it be that there might be 2 people in the same room, and one can see nothing but darkness, while the other can see nothing but light? Will you be paralyzed by the darkness, or will you be light? The Hasidic Rabbi Yitzhak Meir Alter has a different understanding of the verse, a person could not see his brother, nor could he get up from his place. He flips the wording and says, the worst darkness is the blindness in which one person will not see another, refusing to look upon his misery and help him. Such a person will be incapable of rising from his place of growing and development. According to Rabbi Yitzhak Meir, the Egyptians had become blind to the plight of their neighbors. They did not see the oppressed in their society, and so they were trapped in a darkness of their own creation. It kept them incapacitated, unable to move forward, unable to grow. But the Israelites, they could see light because they chose to see the stranger, the widow, the orphan, the oppressed, and the suffering. Rabbi Yitzhak Meir knew something about suffering. Many of his 13 children died in his lifetime. And perhaps it was his own experience of pain that attuned him to the pain of others. Perhaps it was his own experience of darkness that helped him find the light. In times of darkness, it feels like if we look too long at the painful realities, the suffering of our neighbors, we might be consumed by all that darkness. But this is not true. It is our commitment not to hide our eyes or avert our gaze that keeps us in the light. According to Rabbi Yitzhak Meir, it is not the darkness that blinds us to each other, but our failure to see the humanity in the other that locks us in impenetrable shadow. Will you be paralyzed by darkness, or will you lift up the light? Rabbi Yitzhak Meir's teacher, the Kotzker Rebbe, explains that the light and darkness of the 9th plague were not just any darkness or any light. They were the mystical, primordial elements from the creation of the world. The Kabbalists note that on the first day of creation, God separated light and dark, but God did not create the sun and moon until the 4th day. The Kabbalists wondered what were the lights that pre-existed their celestial sources. They say that before day 4, what existed was not the ordinary light we know today, but an all-encompassing light. This was the light of ultimate awareness, far beyond our comprehension. The light was everything and everywhere. With this light, one could see from one side of the universe to the other, and from the beginning of time to its end. God knew that this light was too powerful, that the world couldn't handle it. So God diminished the light and placed it into the sun and moon and stars. This became the light and the dark we know today. And God saved a little bit of that primordial light for the righteous, an ability to see beyond seeing, a light of hope and truth. Or zaru alat tzaddik uyishrei lev simcha, says the psalmist. Light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright of heart. But because the world was imperfect, this light remained well hidden. There was too much darkness in the world to allow people to find that perfect light. The Kotzker Rebbe teaches that the darkness of the 9th plague was the darkness from the first day of creation. It was an infinite darkness, but it was also in that darkness that the Israelites were able to access, for the first time in a long time, their innate ability to see the light. When the world became darker than it had ever been before, the Jewish people's righteousness shone forth. They were suddenly able to access their own light, the light of creation, light of virtue, and it filled their dwelling places. With this light, they could see across time and space. They could see their past. They could envision their future. In the darkness, they found their light, and it was radiant. Will you be paralyzed by the darkness, or will you find the light? All that sounds nice, but the truth is harder than these midrashim make it sound. Just because we can see the light doesn't mean we will choose to. Not all the Israelites made it out of Egypt. There were those who chose to stay, some because they could not imagine liberation, and some because they had grown comfortable in Egypt. And there were those who succumbed to the darkness, that died in the plague, that long, dark night. Rashi speculates that only 1/5 of the Israelites made it out of Egypt. The vision of primordial light might well be our inheritance, but it is also our choice. Will we give in to the darkness, or will we choose to seek the light? The Kabbalists call that primordial light, or haganuz, the concealed light. It is hiding in nooks, in crannies, in the little acts of bravery and kindness, in the affirmations of our shared humanity that push back against the darkness. In the Or Haganuz, the light is hidden the way that there is a tree hidden inside a seed. Light may be planted and sown for the righteous, but it is only so that the righteous can become cultivators of light, that we might water it and tend to it and guard it so that it will grow. Will you be paralyzed by the darkness, or will you cultivate light? There is no denying the darkness in our world. There is no denying the forces that push us to ignore the humanity of our neighbors and the strangers in the street. There is no denying that it would be easier to turn away, to lie down and not get up again until the darkness passes. But in the face of darkness, the Jews choose light. For the children of Israel, there was light in their dwellings. It is a light planted by God and cultivated by our ancestors. It is a light refracted through the suffering we have known, but also through the love we have been shown. The darkness of this moment is a reality, but it is not an inevitability. The darkness of this moment is pervasive, but our light is more powerful. Where will we choose to shine it? How will we choose to share it? Where are the places it's needed most? May the creator of heavenly light, the one who plants light and sows it, the one who hides the seeds of light in the potential of every moment, may the one who offers us a choice and teaches us love grant us the strength to move through oppressive darkness, and the wisdom and the vision and the courage to be the light. Amen.